Hey guys, welcome back again. So in this video, we are going to understand about classes and objects. So if you want to understand the definition about classes or objects, if you Google means you directly get it. There are a lot of many websites and Wikipedia also will get the information. But yes, in this video, I'm just not making concentrate on making you to remember making the things to learn. I'm trying to making the things to you guys understand it. All right, so we'll understand classes and objects in this video so that you won't forget. All right, so now classes, remember classes is like a blueprint blueprint of an house or whatever. Classes or a blueprint defining the structure of objects. Got it? So just remember that as of now, remember classes or like blueprint. We'll come back to objects next. So now we'll go ahead to our system and we'll create a class. All right. So I hope you can able to see my screen. Obviously, you're able to see my screen, right? Correct. So let me keep my mic correctly. Yes. So objects and classes here, I have created a simple project over here in Eclipse, and you can use any editor which you like. But yeah, we'll go with this now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a class. So one thing you guys need to remember that whenever you're creating a class or whenever you're creating a Java file, the first letter always this has to be a capital letter. In Java, we usually follow camel casing namings. All right. So let's create a class named as student. All right, because I'm also learning with you, and we all are learning together. So that's why we'll give a name as of now is student. Right. Okay. So let's create a class name called student, and this is just a class. We are not going to create a main method. All right, so just a class. All right, so if you to check, just uncheck it. All right, so click on finish. So here we have a class. So this is the structure of a class. Very simple. A class and a student, I mean class and a class name. So whatever the properties or whatever the operations you want to do it, or whatever the methods you want to write it for your class to perform, so you can able to write it over here. And we use a different or one more class uh, to access this particular class. So we usually, when you see what you guys are learning, not just about learning a data structure or a language or a programming language over here. No, it's about how project will be done, how you guys need to understand, right? So that's the main thing, and how we can able to write the solve the problem. All right, so now we have created a class, and this class will be using in a different class. So we'll be creating an object of this student class in a different class. All right, so for that, first thing what I'll do, I'll create a one more class called student use. All right, so that student use class will be having a main method. And also you guys know a program execution always starts from which method? Main method. Got it? So let's create a class named student use. So student and camel casing, which I said camel casing, right? Yeah. So here I need to have a main method. All right. So now I'll come back to the class. We are going to use this after some time. All right, so we have created, so save those files, remember that. All right, so here we have a class. Okay, so in class we can able to define the properties, or the we can call it as a variables. So with the properties we can able to perform some operations. Let's say you have a class. As of now we have student, but for an example I'm giving, as you have, let's assume that you have a class called car. Okay, so what is the main operation of a car? What are the features? There would be a basic, a main feature of a car, or main operation of a car is to move. If car is not moving, means obviously it's of no use for in our life, right? In our life, right? Yeah, some people will keep car as a show, like vintage cars. Yes, right. So let's not talk about that. But basically, main operation of a car is to move, like speed, and have like four doors, two doors. These are different features or operations of a car, right? The same way, A student, now we are going to give some two properties. So what is the main very basic thing what student will be having? First one will be a name and we'll give a roll number all as of now. Okay, so now, so name obviously it's of type string. Okay, so name, and I'm going to give a roll number like this, roll and no, which is of type integer. All right, so now student has two attributes, which is name and a roll number. We can give a name to a student and we can give a roll number for a student. So that's the two things which we have added. Got it? So in a class we have added two properties, one is name and a roll number. So now let's come back to the object. So let's talk about objects now. What is object? So class, I said class is a blueprint, correct? So what is object then? Object is going to, object normally generally is called as an instance of a class. All right. So object is going to create a copy of a class. Got it? For example, you have a main class car as I said. With the class, you're going to create an object called Mercedes car. Mercedes car is also a class of a car object, Mercedes object. Let's say Mercedes. Let's say, yeah, Mercedes has four doors. All right. So now, got it? That is the first object of car. Second one, we have a Lamborghini of two doors. It's also an object of the same car, Mercedes car, Lamborghini car, two different objects. So but the copy of that is same. So now we can define number of doors as a operation or a method. Mercedes Benz or Mercedes car will be having four doors and Lamborghini will be having two doors, right? Yes. So now let's create an object. So how to create an object? So that we'll understand now. So here we have a student use, right? So now it's very simple, very simple. The syntax will be like this: student s1 s1 is equal to new student. So you know what is student? Student is a class name. This is also class name. This is the syntax. And your object name, object which you are creating, you can, I'm giving as s1. You can able to give std1 or any name you want. It's a user defined object name. All right. So as of now, we'll give as s1. Got it? So now what we'll do, we'll try to print this as one. So we're going to print it like this. Yes, one. So now I'm going to run this file or run this project right now. Let's see what is the output which we'll get. Okay. So if you see here, so object and classes is my package name. So no need to worry about that. But if you see, student is a class name and whatever the address you're seeing, this is the memory allocation of your object. The address of your object. Got it? So now next thing will come over here. So here, let's say, okay, so just observe over here. I'm going to write a one more print statement. System out dot println, and so to access the properties of that class using an object is very simple. What's our object name? S1. Correct? Clear, right? So S1, to access that property or function, what are the method which we are in Java we call it as a method. So with an object we usually use dot. So S1 is our object name. When you click on dot, just observe the screen. Dot, you see I can able to see name and roll number. Correct? Name and roll number. So if I give name, okay, we didn't get any error. Perfect. So let's run it and we'll see what we'll get. All right. And okay, we'll do one thing. Let's print roll number as well. So in the same line. So s1 dot roll number and no error again. So we'll save it. We'll run the project again. So what you're getting at s1.name, you're getting as null. Paste at s1.roll number, you're getting as 0. So these are the default values of those data types one. So name, which we didn't give anything, so that's why it's null. And since roll number is an integer, the default value it is giving us 0. So now, how to initialize it using an object? Okay, I'll show you one more thing. Here, whatever you see. Okay, let me come to the code again. I'll show here. So let's create a one more object. So very simple. How to create an object? With the class name and the object name is equal to new and the class name with open and close common brackets. Right? So student s2 is equal to new student. Right? Got it? So here we have two different objects, s1 and s2. I said right. Object is going to create a copy of a class. So if I come over here, this is our object s1, correct? This is the second object s2. We have one class which has name and roll number. Now we have an object which is an instance of a class which is going to create a copy of a class which also has a name and roll number. Correct? Same. This is a second object which is named as s2 which we have created, and its name is name, which also has the properties called name and roll number. So now how to initialize the names for those two properties of different objects? Very simple, very simple. So s1 dot name, I am giving as a name as Vasu. All right, like this. Correct. So now I just gave a name, right? So let's run the application. We don't, I mean, let's run the program. We don't have any errors. Let's run it. So what you are getting in here, we are printing it, right? S1 dot name. We are getting as name was because we just initialized it, right? And we are getting roll number as 0. So we'll give a roll number as well for this. So S1 dot roll number is equal to 10. Done. We'll run it. So what I'll do is I'll give a name for this second object as well. S2 dot name will be, okay, let me remove this one. This I don't want it. So I'm going to remove this one. Okay. So S2 dot name, I'm going to give it as, let's say, our name. I'm giving a Subbu over here, and S2 dot roll number. Here I'm going to give roll number as, let's say, 6. Okay. So let's print it. All right. So S2 name, roll number, these two values are stored in a second object. The object is s2. Of those properties, the property names are name and roll number. Got it? So whenever we give s2 dot name and s2 dot roll number, we are going to get the values which is stored in that. Okay, so very simple, roll number. Got it? So let's run it. So now, as you see, for first object, we have stored, for the first object properties, we have initialized the value as Vasu and 10, name and a roll number. And the second object of the same class of two different properties, we have initialized the name and roll number as Subbu and 6. So this is how you can able to create an object for a class. So in classes, we can able to write the methods, functions, everything else. We have a lot of things like getters and setters. So that we'll understand in upcoming videos. So in next video, we're going to understand about access modifiers. All right. So let's meet in our next video. Until then, take care. Goodbye. Bye bye.